Detective Comics Annual #1, James Tynion the Fourth, writing, and Eddie Barrows on art.
I've been a fan of superheroes since I was a little kid, and I'm just now realizing his name is a play on Boris Karloff.
Just now. Took a
well,
while.
not right now, but Wednesday when I got my issue and I'm reading it, I'm going. I see the names next to each other on the page because his dad brings up Karloff, and I was like, oh, Basil, Carlo, Boris, Karloff, son of a bitch. They got me again.
Yeah, so we get the flashback with his dad. His dad has this fancy clay makeup stuff that he uses to like do various facial effects.
Yep.
So it sets that up at the start. But the big thematic thing is that hey, there'll be a monster inside you. Never let them see the monster. And obviously it's all very metaphorical in character as opposed to a literal monster. But obviously it's building up things. We see him like his movie career is going well. He wants this movie role where it's going to be about like a silent movie star who goes nuts and kills like people on like a movie because they wouldn't cast him, right? So what I like about that is it makes me think of The Artist, but like mixed in with Universal Monsters and then a crazy guy. So I kind of
it's a movie I would watch.
I would too. I would absolutely watch that movie. But you see that he's dating was it Gloria, who becomes Mudface, and we see how that happens. I actually really liked it. I thought this was a really solid like sort of origin story for Clayface.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I agree. Yeah.
And it was nice when it cut to when he's like he gets in the accident because he finds out his dad died and he crashes his car and that's what makes him disfigured, and he goes to his place and he finds the clay stuff and he starts using it. I liked it then when he's like, oh, I need more. I've only got like 10 jars. I need more, and it's like discontinued. So he starts breaking into warehouses in Gotham trying to find it. And when we see Gordon and we see Batman, it's like, oh, this is like an old school looking version of Gordon and Batman.
Yeah.
It feels like they're of a different era, which is pretty
cool. And they
cool.
talk about Dent in the DA's office.
Exactly.
I love that. Like
it
so,
nice.
it sets the time period. It's pre Two-Face and
even the fact that the reason why he has the big accent that turns him into Clayface proper is it's two corrupt cops wanting a payday that do it.
Yeah.
So it feels very early, Batman Gotham setting.
Before Gordon was commissioner, or he's still lieutenant.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
I
love that.
Yeah, I like the art quite a bit. Eddie Barrows, of course, did a lot of detective runs, so it feels very fitting in with the main series, but it looks different as well.
It feels like we didn't have Barrows for quite a while. Like he did a lot near the start.
Yeah.
And I feel like he hasn't been there as much lately.
I mean, maybe we'll get more of him on the next arc. And this is just
I hope so, because his stuff's great. There's the panel in particular where it's Batman and Gordon are talking, and Batman like flies off.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it looks fantastic.
Yeah, that's really good. I love the full page spread of both Clayface getting doused with the clay that turns him into Clayface, but also when he shows up at the movie set towards the end, and he's actually like a proper monster coming in. And it's actually like, it's really heartbreaking what he does to Glory, because he literally just opens a jar and throws it at her to turn her into Mudface. Like it's not even an accident; he just does it.
No. Well, because he's in touch with that monster finally. And so did anybody get there something darker with the dad going on? That was like there was subtextual there.
He didn't seem like a good father. Certainly, he seemed like an obsessive father who was like trying to like mold them into like his career.
I feel like he was just overly harsh.
Yeah. Okay. I like the stuff with the director because he's going for this role, and then he makes himself look all handsome again, and when she finds out he's been secretly like altering his appearance, and she's like, "Hey, I cast you because I could see something in your eyes. Like I would have still cast you. I'd have fought the studio. I'd have done everything I could to keep you in this movie. But you've been doing all this. You're caught by Batman. You've been stealing stuff. Like now you're gone. Now you lost that spark because you weren't you anymore. You were this phony version of yourself. So there's some nice messaging in there as well about being your true self and how it's not about your appearance and whatnot. So. No, it's a fully straightforward issue, but I think it's actually like a really nice little tragedy of how he became Clayface.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it fits in very well with what they've been doing with him. Like it sets the tone that he could be flipped back to the side of good, like because he's not 100% bad. He's just a tragic figure, and because you get that scene with Batman coming to him in the hospital bed, is like you can be better.
Yeah,
you're not
Batman's
who you are.
In that scene had a real amount of texture going on.
It did.
Yeah, almost looked like scales actually at one point.
It did.
Like leather wings, like
it looked good.
Yeah, I thought so too.
And I like that because he's trying like, hey, like, you know, you can help me put this guy away who's making this stuff. You can help me. You know, there's something in you, like, because he even says then, even at that point, he's been using it on his face. That's been affecting his brain. Like, you know, it's already starting to affect him. So you know, it ties into what we've been doing in the run, but it, you know, it sets up in a nice little way. But yeah, so I thought Detective was a solid angle.
Just a little couple of panels in the art I really want to highlight is, you know, when he's kind of going full Clayface with the corrupt cops, and it's got, you know, that orangey yellow glow. He just looks horrific, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it feels like a monster movie. It almost feels like you could turn Clayface's story into like a classic old-timey monster movie where this would be the first act, and then the rest of it would be like him stalking like the movie studios and stuff, and like, you know, causing chaos.
Yeah. It'd be so good.
Well, because that stuff, the what's it called, Renew, it has a glow to it the entire time. So then when it just washes over him, and man, really good. Made me appreciate Clayface on another level more than I already was with Tech.
Yeah, we actually have like a defining Clayface sort of run now.
We do,
which is insane.
Yeah, Tynion has done wonders for the character.
Makes me think that he had a soft spot for him from the animated series, and you know, he just with a couple of tweaks, here he is.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I
think what's impressed me as well is that, obviously, after a while, I was impressed with the obvious thing, which is they're actually making me care about Clayface, and I want him to be a good guy because I'm invested in him now. But I'm also impressed that it didn't do that at the sacrifice of having good monster Clayface moments, because everything with like building up to him going the snapping, and then the kaiju Clayface, and then this backstory with him in the movie studio, like, I'm getting good monster Clayface as well. It's giving me everything I want from him. So
I'd love to see, before Tynion's done, I'd love to see him do Langstrom and Man-Bat.
Because that's
then. So you could do like a werewolf style story.
Yeah, that Man-Bat. I can see that.